Hello? Let me turn on that so that you can hear me properly. And I need to turn my voice back up. I haven't even done anything. I haven't even mentioned it yet. What did I do? What are my crimes? Thank you for bonking me. Alright, I guess that's fair. What is this? It's not what to do this thing. There we go. Okay. We should be good now. Oi oi! Welcome, Woody and the Bucky. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door? There's this one last night. One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps the steam engine exploded. Oh crap, I keep hitting my Joy-Cons off everything. Why am I so far to the side? BC face, what is up today? Why do you hate me today? Put me back where I belong, thank you. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? How am I this bad at holding Joy-Cons? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done, whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm just gonna move myself because I'm clearly not going to be able to stay where I belong. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovic Ballet? Yes, I am travelling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America. I'll never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition, when you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovic Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship. They have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... Now let's get on to what I'm really curious about. So the friend you mentioned is inside your travelling case, is that right? One BC face. Hello. My model's acting up for some reason. How are you, Pinap? I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh please, don't tell any of the crew. If they find my precious, then those burly Russians would stir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt.
Come.
Thank you, Woody. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable burglars when it comes to understand You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs. And when thirsty strikes, it could satisfy the need for sustenance. I kind of thought he was going to say that you could order it to kill, which I would accept. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Always remember this about Mr. Sholmes, he will eat you. That's not a he would, he will. He is going to. He is waiting for the moment. Try sitting back and see if that meets me. We will battle whatever is going on with VC Face. Because I spend all day trying to fix getting VC Face set up, and then the second I start streaming, we have to scuff. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Well, that can wait till I'm done talking. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, this Hesperia stopped by no port last night. That's it, of course. Shuffles. There we go. So how was it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strange when he mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. This is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry? What was that? It's how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that's how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. There we- And now I'm too far over, of course. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Shit. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Would you like to see my badge? Can I show you this? I'm actually a university student from the Empire of Japan, you see. That means nothing to me. No, why would it? Mr. Naruhodo, if you're determined to flaunt your human, at least choose a Japanese person who might recognize it. Mr. Sato, can I show you this? Maybe later. I could have shown Inspector Osaka. You want to see my paper seal? You take a look at. Would you like to see the crime scene photo? Miss Pavlova, about this article. Did you know about this merciless revolutionary already? No. But when I saw the picture, I couldn't believe it. He looks just like me in my disguise. Am I the only one around here with eyes? The other man, the one wearing the brown, he also said so. He said we look the same. Yes, he says a lot of things. But I have a strong feeling that besides you and the great detective, you won't find another soul in this ocean who thinks there's any similarity there at all. Mr. Naruhodo, I won't allow you to speak ill of Mr. Sholmes. No, I wouldn't dream of it. Miss Pavlova, about this article. You look so beautiful, like a fairy. I'm scared. If my picture is in the newspaper. Poor girl. She's so young, just 15 years old. First ever run away all by herself. She must have felt very, very alone. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Hold on. Something a little unusual. It reads 1:23 AM. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 AM, what looks to be some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentioned joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh, Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Oh. Excuse me, Mr. Roylett. Yes, what? She's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to the captain's quarters at once. Please. Alright, I will come now. Well, you must leave, now. Oh, no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please, don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylett. Get out! The passenger says out, and if you want... Or you want me to throw you out. Oh god. Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. I'll check something. There we go. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Damn, we could have stopped on the to be continued. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past the sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. I'll show him my badge. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh no, Stroganoff only has 2 arms. Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Okay, yep. Investigated thoroughly, but I don't find anything out of place. Look on top of the table, there's really huge. There's a pen with it too. Yes, I'm sure that's ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing's so neat and precise, every detail. Okay, have we read this one? Beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Okay, yes, it shows a tick if we've checked it. So yeah, we hadn't checked it. Nothing over the sound. That door leads to second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Okay, so we're not moving area yet. So I could go back in that room, or I can... Mr. Stroganoff, can we go in the room? Please? Please, Mr. Stroganoff, can we go in the room? What? Why are you... Why you look like that? You want something? Yes, I want in the room. Can I go in the room, please? Please. Please. Maybe you want me to throw you out again? No. No, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I'll show you where lobsters spend winter, understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Was Kazuma-sama's, I think you'll find. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? Small as a wardrobe been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Or if he'd like to see my badge. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. I wish this had the fast forward for a text you had seen. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of the cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. I think you can. You just have to hope to skip forward. Thank you. Oh, yes. I'm sure he was just exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. I'll give that a wee test. See if I can... Oh. Okay, we've seen this one first, so I can try it. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that, Pine-Up. It's not as obvious as it was on DS. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that had somehow spilt on the floor. I'm playing photo one. And they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. I love how we are trusting Mr. Herlock Sholmes' ability to read Russian. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have... VC face, was I down there for a reason? It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tied them up, didn't you? As much as at the very moment. Yeah, he just learned Russian. He was in the middle of his Russian study. He was just happening to do his Russian study writing on the floor, and then got hit over the head and died. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behaviour in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now. They're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. We've heard these a few times. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruto. We will. I've checked all these. Oh, new stuff for the ventilator grill. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. You kind of added the emerging part. He said it was dangling, which is completely neutral of its movement. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seems as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next one. Why, who gave you permission for this? Well, I'm... Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him in the cold room. No! He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at the Carnival. As long as he's not got a shift. That could be a very long time from now, Mr. Han. From now, Naruhodo-san. Oh, Hosonaga. Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Maybe by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line for if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighbouring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. He said, I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German though. That explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Hold on. Oh. I was hoping to show you my badge. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighbouring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, no, definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? if I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Hold on. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. "It's shoe polish!" was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Ah, yes. Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-coloured mark. Do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know it was shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red, then? Yes, a little like the colour of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh! Does that mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Burigasa medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh! Kazuma's post-mortem report. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in this report. Cervical vertebrae? His neck's broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, so at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. But what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there were no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck would induce death. It is a possibility, but no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you are welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? No. Fine. Would you like to see my badge now? That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewman's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asugi-san. He was my responsibility. Asugi. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. So, let's investigate, let's invest. I might just talk to him again. No, he's coming up clear. You're coming up clear. You're clear, you're clear. No? Oh, we investigate this, of course. It really is such a beautiful... Oh, it really is such a beautiful colour, this glass. It looks like whatever it was is broken clean too. But the other half is nowhere to be seen. And there's the brick colour, and then there's the brick coloured mark, which is shoe polish according to that great detective we seem to know all about. You seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish, not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? I'd assume by smell. Anything else? Sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff. Mr. Sholmes crawling about the floor, sniffing everything. I'm not seeing anything unchecked. Just heading off here, just tight speeds and the options. Oh, thank you. Sorry about the background noise there. I don't know if it actually came through, but it was showing on the thing, so... Ah! Look at that Hosan. Seaman Shogunov is gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's been crossing his arms, glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. I don't know if I want text skip on. Skipping of one. I don't think I want that on, because that's for skipping unread text. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. I did the great detective. This caroling, I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin where we can investigate. Definitely, before that stringy knot grooming comes back. It's Stroganoff, not stringy knot. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. So is that the song? Oh! Where's she going? Hey, what are you doing? Those are private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. You must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we've arrived at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Right, let's get investigate. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator in another room. Maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That's a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Naruhodo-san? Are you there? Sorry, I'm right here, yes, why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. There's one of these next to the Ben Kazuma's cabin as well. Yeah, two. Yes, it's bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there. She gave it a good tug too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Yeah. Look, the SS Bury has like rows of passage. Passage, blah 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 blah. I suppose Miss Pavlova realised that she needs to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friends disappeared to. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes, so do I. All the books have toppled over together, look, every single one. Do you think Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. That was the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell across against the bookcase. I don't know, would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not exactly. Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight. I'll set them all straight again in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. Oops, nothing to investigate. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into the cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I just lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper bin basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san. It's poor etiquette to go sifting for someone's rubbish, you know. I'm sorry, she's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. Guess I'll get in the bin. However, there are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding our special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. Pardon. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? There's just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from ballet last night. She hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. I had a strange feeling that would be the case. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. I should ask too much of people in Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Oops. Come on, there we go. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof that, just above here? What, a leak? Is the ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there was a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Anything else? Up and twist. Oh, nope. The door, I guess. This cam door is the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. With the bolts drawn across, there's no way anybody would enter the cabin from the outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door's made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the other side. And it seals so perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread for a crack in the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors, so I'm starting to see why they'd suspect me. Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes. Sugar clips. Did I miss something? Let's go over to this is the right. Oh, in the hallway, okay. Well, I'm just checking over here again. Oh, the second class door? Oh. Never mind, I don't want to look to the right actually. I think it's ad time. No. It's time for ads and a small break. What's the super for 11 minutes? Oh, never mind. I'm not allowed to play the ads yet. I'm not allowed to play ads to get looking at him. Cruelty. Cruelty of the highest. Oh. There is no true freedom. I'm just trying to figure out what to do. He was right. Mr. Sholmes. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look. I'm looking. Oh, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew. We are. Oops. Excuse me? Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, please stop punching me. Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was about to reach this climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now was as good a time as any. I nearly dropped you to the floor before my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. Hold on, I need to hide, wait. I was immersed in the study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report, so nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student of the land of the rising sun. You're utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. Oh yeah. Fixing my posture. It would seem the same crewman ought to stand sentry in this first class passageway. And he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. But simply so seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused seaman to forget his regular habit of scribbling nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Thank you. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliance. Oh, and stomach cramps? Tommy hurt for a bit too long. It literally just takes it off him and puts it in the court records. What is it? Are you hurt? No, don't worry yourself. It seems I had to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning. For some reason, nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Oh. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders down the passageway. Is something wrong, Sasato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? Grocery. Oops. No. Narrows passage. Other change. Miss Pavlov has broken the rules. Yes, we've established this. Same, I wish we could. She called her a friend, didn't she? Yes, although we didn't know what form this friend takes as yet. It's almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the travelling case in her cabin. No it isn't. It seems, I think. It is noticeably not in the case in her cabin. There we go. Oh, what's that? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. Force stop. Hard to starboard all way. And space for impact. Huh? What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. Why? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on, don't you? Susato-san? Are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think. Yeah, the ship's come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Inspector Osanaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? I'll bolt the door quickly. What? The bolt? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. That's strange. How would it... Ah, look at the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san? Aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? Yeah, we're all learning about gravity today. I better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop has solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Oh. Okay, now we can try for the ad break. Alright. Secrets show me saving vault. Maybe the pre-roll ads did go the last time. In which case no one would see them this time, so it's fine. I'm very confused about how my ads work. I should also grab more water and also stop throwing things on the ground. Where'd they go? You wouldn't know about the ads because you're subscribed, and subscribers don't have to see ads. That is one of your subscriber perks, not having to experience my ads. You're so fancy. Woody, I can't play an ad for another 11 minutes. You'll have to wait. Thank you, though. Thank you for spending all your points to play an ad. I assume that's not all your points, but... I want to check something. Wait, Woody, I literally cannot play an ad. You can't see the ad right now. You have to wait.
It's whoop-ass time!
You're allowed. Woody, if you really want, I can refund you that and you can redeem ads in 11 minutes when it's allowed again. Fine, I'm giving you your... Where's ad time? Reject. There you go. Everyone else is good. Mark all these as complete. Somehow the doors to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Sasasai took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. You, what were you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. The person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming, crew are running everywhere. This first class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder, dressed in all black, you are the devil. So, me? I've caught a lot of things before, but devil's a first. You opened my travelling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It's not enough that he has killed a man. He is a stowaway as well. If Vixen promised he's not the steel chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He is a trespasser as well. Hell is everyone else. Everything else. Stowaway, trespassing, killing. She is right, you are the devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There's a cell below the deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Osanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Ding ding! Oh, okay. Don't just... Oh! Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me. I was just starting to think she was my friend. I'm pretty certain there is someone who could help with this mess. Here's Takeda. What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analysing what a way to have 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I never told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, boy. Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I was determined if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again. The great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere than a hook on the wall next time. What is Turbot? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on the vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved. By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to eliminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Ha! You solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all know he was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning, then when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is the stowaway. He has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Locked room. That's his point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have drawn across the outside from the outside of the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yeah, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator man. Alright, okay. Woody, here's your ad break. Ad that you can't see because you're subbed. Hey, look, listen, I've done it to people. I love the funky ad redeems, so I can't blame you. Right during this deduction. The ventilator? You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? Well, precisely, my dear madame. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold! What Sneaky! Sneaky find! Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band. Snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It's more like, it looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Well, you're right. I think in this case you would have to call it the Striped Band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that it is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who dies, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, the same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No! She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right, he's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi? Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I'm going to use my hand on my face. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh boy. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. It was quite romantic. There's nothing in there. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, but you recall those horrible events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And this is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we asked, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on this pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which she boarded the vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the arriving serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's Recent observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. What? And what you're trying and failing to conceal would be the snake's stowed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next. I don't think he knows anything about snakes. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours was last night infiltrated the scene of the crime. It's a rare breed of snake whose markings change every time it slows its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be fought in the deepest depths of India. Yeah, he has an approximate. That's exactly what they went with. He has an approximate knowledge of many things. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to data of which I have apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible vet. About that, Mr. Sholmes. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend, Mr. Sholmes. This makes no sense. There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavoured to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glances betrays the hiding place you choose. That's right, you hide the evidence that links you to the victim's death in the travelling case. When you first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your separate assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't. It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend? To train? He has very approximate knowledge of many things. Indeed, you put the serpent through the ventilator and wait. After a period, you summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you listened for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared to not have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny a snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slivered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt my logic is infallible. About that, Mr. Sholmes. I've updated the autopsy report. This concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you'll observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is key to training any creature. Incredible. You saw— no, Ryunosuke! No! Amazingly, your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it is nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Don't, Sato, just don't. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Something doesn't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my methods, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madame. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example, the logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But, madame, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps if performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. They also bait it. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so innate to be practically useless. Sholmes cries when he thinks about snakes. Don't take it out on the stakes, Mr. Holmes. There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their belly to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake can manage to climb a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is— oh, there's the thing for... Then it should try harder. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm saying is, trying to say, is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine a snake could have been a part of this. He's so mean to snakes. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions. and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Tom's Sato, why are you determined to get me found guilty? Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, right. So, cast your eye down to your wrists again. What? You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not. I shall say they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Miss Pavlov, almost blah blah. If you drink water too fast, it goes up your nose. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Miss Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look closely at Miss Pavlova. Ah. I can see the snake in the background. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look. That looks like a very painful wound. Looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. Fairly recently too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Left ear. What about her left ear? She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear. Ah, that's an earring. The crescent moon part looks as though it's made from wood. It's charming, isn't it? I do love adornments like that. In their hair, and around their necks, and their fingers, and hang from the earth, it seems. Well, Jori is beautiful, Naruhodo-san. Let's go. This part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. Oh. So now with its left, its clasp part there. So in this case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. Well, good thing we kept investigating. I can't remember the controls. There we go.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we asked, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on this pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you had boarded the vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the surviving serpent? No. Seems like that scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Oh. Oh, look at it! Look at look at it! Look at the kitty! Look at the kitten! Look at the photograph in this frame. Oh, meow meow. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true, but personally, it's a little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Okay, gay. Dragon Pride. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Okay. Let's take a look at her though. This must be a stage costume she's wearing. It's quite stunning. I should like to have something like that. But, and she's wearing her 20,000 rubles on her head as well. Look. It's called a tiara, Naruhodo-san, and you shouldn't think of it purely in terms of its value. She must be a strong-willed woman. Turn her back on the world stage and run away all on her own. Oh, poor little meow meow. Look at this little cat Pavlova's cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could be with... You couldn't hit Naruhodo-san for the blackest outfit? A black kitten? And from look with this picture, at least Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. It's almost just like he goes off and hangs you. To direct his thoughts, he just sort of slowly run the just picking him up and turning him like 5 degrees till he's looking at the right thing. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Darka is my best friend. Sorry. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, the fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. This specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What would cite, okay? No. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she'd just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh yes, please look like our Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought seduction was a specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? A rope? Well, it is speckled and it is a band, but what is it? Oh, is it one of those twirly things? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. It looks like a handle on one end. Oh! Thank you. Thank you, Worm. Hold on, hold on. Oh, hold on. Freud, can we see me? Freud has... Oh, Freud has stopped working, hold on. Oh well, it does still work, it's just the thing's not going. Not that one. And... Right. Why no working? Why can't see me now? Okay, I guess I'll just restart it. Oh, and I'm way over here now. Put me back. Put me back where I belong. I could just click. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now you can see me. Hold on, let's fix that angle a wee bit. There we go. And silly mode back on. Okay, hold on. We can... I'm not happy. I am not... There we go. Okay, you can see the tail. You can see the tail, you can see me, it's all good now. I think it may be a cat's toy. Meow? Toy for me? Toy for me? We're slowly winning. Toy for me? Meow. This sort of is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. Wormy, how are you? I forgot to ask. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. That's toy.
Yes!
Hey, good. Yes, that thing you're trying but failing to conceal as a cat's toy? Precisely, and the true nature of that now infamous speckled band. And it was that toy that you dangled through the ventilator. Hey, nice. Enjoy your spaghetti. I also forgot to turn off the face. There we You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. Are you waiting to get the redeem again, Woody? After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighbouring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime. I get what I didn't hear. Is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Yeah. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty. Moving on, we get to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life and why? According to the data of which I have apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. Wait. What Mr. Sholmes says is true? There were no signs of a wound to anyone in Kazuma-sama's body. That's right, but Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information is missing now.
Yes!
Mr. Sholmes, I think you'd appreciate this. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence of Firma at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could it be? Could there be? Yes, the exam... Oh, yeah, no. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon's been found though. Presumably Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. I've been terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened?
Yes!
Hopefully I'm right. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow and dye were my results, the undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the colour of the polish is a perfect match to the colour of Mr. Soki's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Sogi must have caught his foot at the point on the floor and tripped. Please no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck up against some immovable object as he fell to the floor, suffering a fatal blow to the spine. The victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant he lost his life. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Sogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But no. Picked Mr. Sholmes up. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over him, and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the marks on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Well, let's see what they say about the travelling case. Just where Miss Pavlova had her friend. That's right. And it wasn't a snake after all. No, it was that little kitten she calls Darka. Not that it's anywhere to be seen now. It seems to have let itself out of the cage and gone exploring. I expect it's wrapped itself around someone's head somewhere, trying to make a new friend. Either that, or it's scratching their hand to pieces. Point is, where has it got to? Oh, wait. This is the waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first class cabins have them. Above all, I'm sorry, last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in the waste paper basket. Yeah, I was a bit like, wait, it can't be the waste paper basket because we looked in there and we saw nothing. But apparently, we're just stupid. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. It would seem one that has a familiar, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor of Mr. Hosogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that piece of glass, that part of this glass object which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Yeah, they should have. That would have made more sense. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. Is that hush Russian accent of yours that won't save you this time, dear girl? Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Arahodo. I don't know what we're talking about. Yes, the evidence.
Yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. Look at this graph! The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who had lost his life last night did so after a very inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Bucky. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared for the ventilator before I could stop her. And that's how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes. And I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure someone was there. He must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try and lure the kitten back again by dangling the end of the toy for the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Dark always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favourite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Kazmahe wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to receive her pet. Sorry, there's background noise. Okay. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. And afterwards, nothing. It was total silent. Kazuma was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The Sisbury is a large vessel, but even she can pitch her and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asogi had already lost off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors would easily have caused him to fall over. But what becomes of the kitten afterwards? Yeah, truly, what a way to go. In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darker is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died, but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? That's right, where is it? If Snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it, and where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Oh, I didn't say? Snake is my friend. His name is Piros. What? I was about to say, I'm surprised they don't allow cats on board given pest control, but there is something else that would eat mice and rats. He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did the snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friends, without someone who understands? Same. Couldn't you find someone a little more... But consider I want to pet Sneaky. But my dear burly fellow, our gargantuan venomous snake, surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Bro, it does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. Like Granny. It's venomous? Yes, no, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood, but once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Sweet needle. Rusk eats mouses, big fat round mouses. Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favourite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. He hates the snake. Why are you so mean to this poor snake? Just because it can't drink milk, it can't hear, and it can't climb a bell cord, and it's not venomous. Oh, they just did something so Nepland a starring role. It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Porosco has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happens. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Miss Pavlova? I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathise. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. All Snake do is not drink milk, not have ears, not climb bell cord, not have venom, eat hot chip and lie. That's all Snake do. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm not sure of it. I just can't put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? Oh, so I've just realised, silly mode is not meant to still be on. Hold on. And now VoD is going to not work again. Hold on, let me try. Hold on, let me try this one. No? I thought... Why no? Can I refresh this? Yes, redeem to make me disappear. Oh, there we go. Make me disappear, redeem. Okay, put me back down where I go, thank you. I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Not again. When did he do that? Especially if they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could solve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. Very close. It's not like me wink. The key to this story, I'm sure we can chase that down. Maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how the scene in your cabin really came to be. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Right. I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we shall ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. So, was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten and had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Wait, let's take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out to me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. They're in Casima's cabin, it's undeniable. Couldn't possibly be a mere accident. Really? Let's show our hands, Naruhodo. Hold on. Hold on, I need to save, and also I need to BRB. Really quick. Okay, I'm here again. We are good. And you can leave it. Okay, yeah, again, it's fine. Thank you for, waiting on a very long break. Okay, what are we presenting? Of
Yes!
course, he wrote something. The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. Look at this crap. Thank you. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script is Russian, isn't it? That script is Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The words written mean wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry? What do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. The reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae results in instant death. Instant death. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlov told us was true. What? So Satan has noticed it too then? Gives truth away another piece of evidence proves there was no other words. Piece of evidence. Found in his room. My badge. Brain is only bringing up. Let's just show the ship log. Is it this? I don't know. I'm gonna show all the evidence until someone tells me. Because I don't follow.
Yes!
Okay, never mind. I didn't think it was that because we'd literally just shown that. But I guess we're now covering the fact that she took the other half. I guess. It's them working the fort, but that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already knew all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened. Yeah, no worries, Pineapple. Then how did the one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Yes, remember remember that we found the other half of this glass bell in the waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged their scene to disguise the truth in order to cover up their own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's.
Hold it!
You're wasting time. Someone else was there. Of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Me, you idiot. Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There is no way in or out. Yes. And only other person in the cabin when young student died was you.
Yes!
It's true I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian, and there's no way I would have left that message. Not would have, there's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor. For fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes. Oh, well... It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. We got them. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you?
Hold it!
Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is a woman of sea. She is daughter of a strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was a dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. So that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not true. I give my tooth. Well, this is all very interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You're a great detective, you should know. Look through thin eyes. Cabin bulkhead. It was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you won't tell me the killer could walk through walls, yet it's impossible. He's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie threads around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are waterside doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship ship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap in sight. No thread or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... Sato-san! How could you shift on to me like that? So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honours, Mr. Naruhodo? We should side cam from the outside. Wait, what? Wait, what? I know it's the alarm. Potentially hint, yeah. Like, I know what it is, but I don't know how that corresponds to anything in this room. Oh, the bookcase because... Maybe? Bookcase because it's fallen over?
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as force of inertia, acting on the objects. Is there nothing Suzanne doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the small force that pushed over those books in the bookcase also made something else in the cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into the cabin not long before and we hadn't bolted the door. Yeah, I was about to make a double joke. Her book is connected to the Gaia library. One person in chat, please understand. But then... Oh yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but is small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you... ineptia, if you want to call it that. Or are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sohi was killed? Yes, I'm talking about Philip. Oh, I was going for Philip H.png. The SS Buria made another emergency. The SS Buria made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Sogi's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say the Buria made an emergency stop? It seems a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergencies. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is was compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As, indeed, as it did a little earlier today. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Sogi, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You're idiots. Buria is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop, even in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. But do not press the case of emergency. Don't mind if I do. Mr. Sholmes is the emergency.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganov, it's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This will be where you record the details of your duties? What are you doing with that? That is mine! You rather carelessly left it atop that little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care to mind it to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at where you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you would write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is... because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 AM, something happened, here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh? Why? Well, because if something major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergent stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it had happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, ma'am. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Oh, yes, I have had a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. Since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dinner the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this sliced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there will have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I'll tell everything. Eh? I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decide to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You're right. You put sleeping dog and chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrades on shore with a small fishing boat. All the passengers in the SS Buria slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meal had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. That's chicken funky, but I'm real hungry. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Casma's cabin door. But how would that make sense? Surely every cabin door ends up locked in that case. There would be a complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Oh, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of the passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door in the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is the point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragment of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But what? I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long boring stories we don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of goat on the wind? What? Accusatory cry of goat? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. Oh boy, what? So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Please point me every time I get it wrong. Just rotate me as I required. Just as I said, of the two observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? by tampering with the scene of Mr. Asugi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows somebody else was there last night when Kazuma died. Chunky arms. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. Ink. And look at the colour too. It's clear where it came from. Oops, almost presented absolutely nothing.
Yes!
They're pointing to get behind. We've just got a stand that we put him on and it rotates. Seaman Stroganoff, you seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where the dot comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. Very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. I think what made it clear is... Indeed it is! So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves that the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is...
Yes!
Yes, it's the photograph. And the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual colour of ink. Purple. Ah, the penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of the uniform. It's ink of the exact same colour. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin in the moment immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in Dead Student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. When I pressed button to make Buriyako do emergency stop and bolt cabin shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do the talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. When our angel came to me, she was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside... Oh, thank you, Worm. Thank you. Thanks, Dwight Cheese. My posture's fine. Oh. Thank you for all the self-care, Redeems. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on the floor. What happened in here? Please don't tell anyone. My little furry friend. Everything that happened in the cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. at Sogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell on the floor? Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried that when she heard sound of something falling on the floor, that's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened the door of Stune's cabin and looked, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Oh, yes, that's right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area of this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What's your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well. Okay, some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? I mean...
Yes!
It's over there. The word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma. So if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true. It is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I mean by a nutshell, I'm afraid. The particular crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. Oh, okay. Well, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed the victim appears to have done here, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you'll each see. A fault for Sholmes. Doesn't matter if you... But losing, I guess, is like... Doesn't matter. I don't think so. I've never noticed it being a difference. I just have a save scum terrible idea. I mean, I was going more for the hand position here, but I guess. Look at this graph. The only other thing I can think is the other hands, because I don't imagine. I imagine his hand would have gone out to catch himself on something. And it seems kind of out of place for him to have it in a fist.
Yes!
If he really felt it was an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't quite... Oh right, Okay. The exact same thought occurred to me, and I follow one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist, almost you might say, as though he was gripping something. I was thinking, I was like, did we open his hand and find something? But then I was like, no, that would definitely have been I would have remembered seeing that in the court record if it did. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madame. Would I keep you in suspense? Yes, you would. This is what I found. Ah, okay. Wow. A crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle? Yes, you're right, a crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Yeah, we literally... all the stuff we've already covered when we were clicking random things. Observation, Mr. Arhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? That's the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes. We already have, so look at this.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? But look at your other ear. I notice a crescent moon. I don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova? Mr. Sogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Sogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night... what did you do to Kazuma? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, fishing boats in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after a horrible long day. Dark ways. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call him with a little whistle. I tried waving your favourite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin, just a moment, sorry, but... Oh, yes. I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Of course, you're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart suddenly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on the ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull the course. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down at the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me, I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared, and I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when you went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at the cabin door shaking like a leaf. To ruin the mood, my cat is screaming outside my door. Yes, I hear you. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out I will leave, please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went into the cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway, in a wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, and that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed the wardrobe door and put back the strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Sato started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilled to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe so that personal phantom would look inside wardrobe and find stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin, I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Buria did indeed come to an emergency tow a little after 2 AM, thus enticing the bolt of the cabin door to side shuts, creating a locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact you'd run away from your homeland. It's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and told the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? He said an inspector was his friend. Yes, he was meaning me. He was supposed to be. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you for a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I don't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then you wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make send me back. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin was being my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama? Yes, exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I've learnt today, is that a simple gaze can reveal any manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be outweighed even a little bit, or following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Mrs. Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at?
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asoki's exact words last night? Give me a moment, I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asoki intends to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them we might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asoki was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? Good Lord, sweet Jesus. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia. So she won't be going back to Russia then? I know he didn't deserve. No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to remain and return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away. But she ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help arrange it, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death, it feels like such a waste. But, well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive at Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, it is still away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even begun then. I think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. It seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Is this Sato-san? The Rose, I didn't know you'd returned. Oh, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosenhaka just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Sasato-san? He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident. It was a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed. And caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. I'm free again now, Ali. Hey! We are having a moment, Mr. Sholmes. Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo? What's the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. It's simply that in my head I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, well, it seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say? You're a stowaway after all. Thinks this is funny? Yeah, this man must be stopped at all cost. Mr. Sholmes? We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly heart-rending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honour. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated with the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? In light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no. I don't care for me, but... Where's Sasato-san? My dear fellow, some majorities of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? You have any qualification obtained in your own country? Okay. I was going to say, Mr. Sholmes, about to say, you think lawyers need to go to law school? No. In the Phoenix Wright and the Ace Attorney universe, you think you need to graduate law school to be a lawyer? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Yeah, you just gotta believe in your client, and then you can be a lawyer. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. Mrs. Sato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? You're not a... You're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... yeah. Yeah, Mr. Hosanaga. I'm sorry, in that case, I don't think that's even a chance it could work. But as I say, there's still more than a month before we reach England shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which study to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo? That's ridiculous. Are you suggesting anybody could learn all that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learnt enough to be recognised as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself through such a difficult position? For Kazuma. You said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Sato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No. It's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating. Duty and rules are the routine of existence that we are all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the Captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report. Are you real prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I am going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I'd be delighted to help you. I am a just co-assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd like you to take charge of this. What, me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. Karuma. It's a great sword, that's been in this Asogi clan for generations. Very well, accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mr. Sato? Seems we're working together for some time to come yet. It'll be an honour, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favour to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. What? I should never have doubted you. You are Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behaviour. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away in the cam door or something. I was like, no, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times, possibly 6. The number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw. Do it. Don't even think about it. We're going to launch it, girl. No, I don't know. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Throw me right now. We're going to do the Sentai launch. We're going to put her up on our shoulders and we're just going woof. Very well, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess, I was most impressed. When did he say that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called Sato Takedown. It lays your head for swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of competitive sport arts. I am a practitioner of the competitive arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be as kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw? Yes, I'd be honoured. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madame. No. Oh, of course. No. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? No. Sorry? God damn it. As you see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that's what you term the Sato takedown, is it? Actually no, that was Sato squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered in my mind. Karuma? That's right, it's a prized sword that's been passed through the generations of the Sogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. Kazuma never studied law, he only studied the blade. A Japanese man's sword is his sole Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karama guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject... Oh no, please. There's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. But of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. The important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. We did it. Case 2 is done. And we'll finish it off there for tonight. Thank you guys. Dun, dun. On to episode 3 though. Let's see. Thank you all for joining as always. Mod, can you very kindly do the Discord, Twitter and YouTube links, please? Oh, Baki. Our buddy Obake is live. Thank you, Worm. Let me mute this tab before I start shouting. And let me hit the microphone as much as possible. And then we can start the raid. So thank you guys. I don't know what day next I'll be on, but we'll work it out. Just enjoy the raid. Those are all the places to find me, all the places to keep up with information. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.